of ClickPay. Ashneer Grover, entrepreneur, investor. Ashneer, you have poked a very, very sarcastic point of view that you had and you took to social media saying India is super fun, super iconic, uncle sipping on their drink, smoke in hand, bragging about how they made their fortunes in land speculation by putting their cash to good use, planning their next casino trip to Macau and passing judgment on online gaming, how it is impacting the youth. So where do you stand? Clearly, you are not happy.
I think it's extremely unfortunate. See, here's an industry which has been around for 10 years. The gaming regulations have evolved. The industry has gone through fire tests at Supreme Court, right, to prove itself that it's not gambling. It's a game of skill, right? And the industry in itself has been very, very disciplined, because if you look at, we have accepted everything that's been sent our way by the government. So whether it was having self-regulatory bodies, we agreed to that. Being very disciplined about advertisements, we've agreed to that. The industry in any case is paying 28% tax already, and I'll explain it to you how. Of a 100 rupees pot, 80 rupees gets divided as winnings and 20 is kept by the platform. Out of that 80 rupees, 30% is given as TDS. There's no industry in the country which deducts TDS at 30% rate already. Okay. On the balance, 20%, we are giving 18% GST. So that's another 3.6%. So 24 plus 3.6, 27.6% is being contributed by the gaming industry already. So what was the need of imposing this 28% now? Because what you have done is, by imposing this 28% GST, you have killed the industry. आप ही मेरे को बताइए ना कि if a gamer joins for 100 rupees and you say that okay, you put in 100, 28 is taken by the government, now you play on 72. Who will join the game? So it is a move which, for the purpose of tax collection, just beats me. We're already paying you 28%. Why are you coming and imposing another 28% on us?
82, if you're playing at 82, they will be ready to play. But when you increase it by another 10%, because 18% GST was already being charged, now it's 28%. So another 10% up, and that becomes detrimental. I'm playing devil's advocate here, Ashneer, because there are 2-3 counterpoints. One of the aspects is that there are states that have levied nearly 200% tax on tobacco, cigarettes, etc. But tobacco is still selling, cigarettes are still selling. Where is the money being lost? State is only making extra revenue. It's supposed to be a detriment, but where is it? And there are also those who believe gaming is addictive, so that it needs to be controlled. Second point of view is that it's a big booming business. So the government obviously wants a share of the pie as revenue.
I'll answer both of those, right? First of all, you can make it 28%. You can also make it 50%. You can also make it 82%. You make 100%. The moment any industry which has a 20% margin, you impose a 28% tax, your base is gone. So it's 28% of zero. So the government was till now making 28% of 50,000 crores a year. Now the government will make 28% of zero, which is so, you're talking about a 14,000 crore loss to the exchequer. आपके रेट बढ़ाने से टैक्स कलेक्शन नहीं हो जाती, मार्केट भी बचनी चाहिए, right? So on that logic, it's completely flawed. Second thing is, understand it's not the same as alcohol. It is not the same as tobacco. What is the cost of manufacturing one, stick of cigarette? It's 1 rupee, right? On 1 rupee cost of cigarette eventually gets sold to the consumer at 20 rupees. There is margin there. We are dealing with money. We were having such a tough time just to explain to the gamer that the government wants to collect TDS even on 1 rupee. So earlier the TDS limit was that if you win above 10,000 rupees, the TDS kicks in.
Correct.
Government said nothing doing. 1 rupee भी अगर कोई जीता तो आप TDS काटो. हम तो अभी वही सिखा रहे थे गेमर को, राइट? एंड वी आर गेटिंग सच अ पुशबैक फ्रॉम द गेमर सेइंग कि अरे मेरा विनिंग कैसे कम हो गया. सी इन व्हेन यू डीलिंग विद money, you can't do this. Now let me ask you one thing. If it is anything is addictive, yaar, anything which is speculative is addictive. Now you can make an argument tomorrow that stock markets are addictive, right? They're also speculative. Big money is involved. Would you impose tax saying anyone who puts money into stock market, we will first take 28 rupees away from that, right? So I think it's a very unfair sort of analogy which is being used, right? Everything is very, very different. You cannot compare online gaming to gambling, first of all. The Supreme Court has said it's a game of skill, right? So let's first honor what the law of the land is. If the Supreme Court is saying this is not gambling, why are we treating it as gambling in the first place, right? And why? And I question the timing of it. Right? 10 साल से इंडस्ट्री चल रही थी यार, किसी के मतलब ऐसे छुप के हम कोने में काम नहीं कर रहे थे, राइट? वी आर एप्स आउट देयर. ड्रीम 11 हैज 18 करोड़ डाउनलोड्स.
यस.
इन अ कंट्री ऑफ 140 करोड़ पीपल, मोर देन 15% पीपल आर ऑन अ सिंगल ऐप, राइट? आप जितने भी एड्स देख रहे थे ड्यूरिंग आईपीएल और ड्यूरिंग वर्ल्ड कप, 50% plus of the ads come from the gaming industry, right? So we were supporting IPL, we were supporting cricket in India, right? There's a whole industry in media. Significant amount of ads are dependent on this, right? Directly, indirectly, we are employing more than 10,000 people, right? You can't be introducing something without thinking what's the next step. The next step is absolute death for the whole industry. There is no other outcome. If this is not taken back, if people are not consulted, I can tell you, you can write off the gaming industry in 2023.
Yeah, but this is not a government decision. GST Council, all the states form this GST Council. There must be something that's got all the states to think in favor of this. Majority नहीं होगा तब तक तो ये pass नहीं होगा, decision नहीं होगा.
It is pure politics.
Why do you
Come
say that?
2024, right? You are 1 year away from the election. Someone has to be made the bad guy. Someone has to be put in its place, so that you can go and talk to your electorate saying कि अरे ये बुरा हो रहा था, हमने ठीक कर दिया, right? Unfortunately, out of the blue, the gaming guys have been made the bad guys, right? मतलब हमारा you look at all the gaming founders, yeah, look at our teams, right? All of us are somewhere tech people from IITs, from IIMs, from different places, right? Doing it for the right reason. We are paying the taxes to the government. All the money that is involved is from the bank accounts. There's zero cash involvement in this industry. It's one sector of Indian startups which was by definition profitable. अभी आप रोते रहते हो कि अरे Indian startups loss बनाती है. Gaming was one segment which was always making profit, right? And all of a sudden you have said कि नहीं, horse racing, gambling, gaming सब बराबर है. इन पे 28% डालो, ये हमारे यूथ को बर्बाद कर रहे हैं और इनको हम ठिकाने लगाते हैं. So you made an electoral issue of no issue at all, right? And therefore I'm not surprised whether it's the government or the opposition. It suits everyone, right? And to me the unfortunate part is the Indian startup space and the Indian tech founders have no awqat in front of the politicians. That has been proved.
That's a very strong statement. Why would they single out the gaming industry?
There are two things. One, there is no empathy towards the startup space and the founders. There's absolutely no empathy. We have no voice with the government. ठीक है, आप चाहे मेटी ले लो, चाहे आप GST ले लो, Ministry of Finance ले लो, we are treated as kids doing something. We are not treated as genuine businessmen who need to be taken seriously. That is the view of the government to start with, right? And the other thing is, in general, the government have this view कि यार जो टैक्स दे रहा है उससे वो टैक्स ले लो, रेट ही तो बढ़ा रहे हैं, कौन सा हम कुछ गुनाह कर रहे हैं. बट everything, the moment you increase the rates, the dynamics of the industry change. There's an elasticity which comes in, right?
Yeah.
Now let me step back a few weeks back. आपने 20% TCS कर दिया, right? लोगों ने शोर मचाया, was very vocal about it, right? Mohandas Pai also wrote about saying कि यार अब आप मतलब anyone who's rich enough to travel abroad should be taxed. What's the sense? There are people who are saying कि अरे ठीक है 20% TCS तो ले रहे हैं, आप रिटर्न में भरोगे, आप वापस ले लेना. यार by that logic तो आप 100% कर देते. 100% भी वापस मिल जाता. But it changes the whole dynamic, right? So 20 आप, how can you have anyone say कि आप 100 रुपए लगाओगे आपको 70 रुपए की चीज मिलेगी and expect that industry to flourish? So here's what the government has done. They have effectively banned online gaming. It's not about tax. In the GAR, because banning would have meant legislation, a debate, right? You would have had to go and answer to the Supreme Court. They have commercially done what they did not want to do legislatively, which is ban online gaming.
Strong statement again, Ashneer. Would you want the government or the GST Council to rethink? Final question.
Here's my view. Let's go by data. So we are very happy to engage with the government, right? We cannot build anything progressively by being confrontational. So it's not about being confrontational. Our request to the government is, you raise your points, raise your concerns, right? Either we are able to address them or we are not able to address them.
Okay.
Right. Now, if you think the gaming industry is becoming addictive, give me data points. If you think it leads to distress and suicides, give me data points. I think there are more suicides happening in India preparing for JEE than caused by gaming industry, right? Now, does that mean that the government will go and stop the JEE preparation industry, right? So let's have a logical conversation on what your concerns are. Right. You could have political concerns, you could have perception concerns, right? We are here to resolve everything. Even alcohol consumption beyond a certain limit is illegal, right? If you cannot have more than 2 drinks and drive, right?
Yeah.
But that's at least come to that 2-drink limit, right?
Parameter,
you tell us
limit.
How much do you want every gamer to be able to spend in a year? There are mechanisms for everything, right? If you think beyond a certain, everything becomes addictive beyond a certain limit, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not saying, oh, I put 1 rupee on game, I lost 1 rupee on game, I'm destroyed, right? So we are very happy to engage, right? But this 28% is banning the online gaming. It's not a tax at all, right? We are not even talking specifics of tax. And I think somewhere as an industry, we'll also come out very strong, right? If this is how we are going to be treated, then maybe we'll end up boycotting the World Cup this year. Let's as an industry we will just stop, boycott the Asia Cup, boycott the World Cup, and let the government run the show.
Ashneer Grover, you make some very strong points, but you're saying it's not confrontational, it's conciliatory. Tell us what you need, what your concerns are. Prove to us your concerns, and we'll address them.